Floppy, response times. We're going to talk about the silent deal killer in real estate. What's standard? Stay tuned. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning, Billy. What a massive topic. This is a big topic, this one.
Does it kind of make you roll back in your head thinking, oh, God?
Oh, look, it really, really does. And this is probably one of my favourite topics because when I came into real estate, Billy, I built a model on this, on speed and convenience. You know, it was one of the big things that I identified in our industry, that response times for everything, emails, agents returning phone calls, text messages, just absolutely everything was just sloppy and long. And I'm generalising here, obviously. But I want to break it down a little bit this morning, Billy. So let's just ask everyone out there, first of all, what do you reckon on average is the percentage, Billy, of people that just never hear back from a real estate agent?
I would have hoped it would be a good old 0%, but it's far from the truth. Like, you'd think that if you're a buyer, you're inquiring on a property to sell, it doesn't matter which form of contact method you use, whether it be email inquiry, phone call, SMS, you'd hope that you'd hear back, regardless of time frame. But yeah, that's not the case.
That's not the case. So doing a little bit of research, I've found out that it's approximately 40% of people just simply never hear back from the real estate agent. So they've put through an email inquiry or they've called the real estate agent and they hear absolute crickets. So I don't know why the industry is confused as to why when we call buyers, sometimes we don't get the return phone calls. Yeah. Is it that the buyers are just reciprocating the service that they've received? You know, those stats are quite appalling, actually. So let's break it down. I want to just ask you some questions, Billy, about what's normal, what you consider to be normal, what's normal at Novak, because I know we've built a model again on you know, speediness and convenience. So you've put through an email inquiry on one of the real estate portals. What's a normal response time?
The average industry response times within the day. You hear back that same day.
Okay, so not 72 hours later?
No, not 72, probably 24.
24 hours. So within 24 hours? Okay. 24 hours. And then what's the standard in our office at Novak?
It's within 10 minutes. And people might ask, well, how on earth do you do that in 10 minutes? Because it's not like everyone has the capacity to service an email inquiry within 10 minutes. But we do have a model where if you don't hear back from the lead agent within 10 minutes, the rest of the team can open up and help that buyer straight after that fact. So 10 minutes is where every inquiry is serviced.
Service the buyers. So I understand, again, from doing a bit of research, that the industry standard, what is, you know, how people feel they're getting serviced by a real estate agent is within 3 days, within 72 hours. So you can just imagine it's a long weekend. You know, we've been swamped with buyer inquiry. Why? Because people have got time. They're on their lounges. They're looking for property. They're putting through an inquiry and then they hear absolute crickets until today. We've been busy responding to those inquiries right throughout the weekend. Telephone call. So you've put through, you're a buyer or a prospective vendor or a client, and you've called the real estate agent. What's normal? What's not?
Well, this is the baffling one, because it literally pops up as a missed call on your phone. I get with an email inquiry, you've still got to open your inbox and all that, but within 3 hours, 4 hours, that's half a day, working day. I would have thought that would be ample time.
Industry standard, you reckon? That would be, on average about what you consider to be the industry standard. Someone's put through a call, missed call, you've been in an appointment, and then you reckon most agents should be calling back within 3 to 4 hours.
A couple of hours, yeah.
So reports indicate that most people never receive a callback, ever receive a
Right.
callback. What's normal, Billy, in our office? I know what I've got on my message when I miss a call. What do you reckon's normal in our office?
I know there's like 3 or 4 of us in the office that have in our voicemails, sorry, I missed your call. I'll call you back within the hour. And I know Stefan's pushed it to, I'll call you back within 30 minutes. So
Yes, yes.
I might need to up my game. We'll get it put out a business lease. But yeah, look, within the hour, and that generally is for an hour appointment. We'll call you back straight after.
Absolutely. And, look, again, this is the expectation these days. We don't go online and order an Uber and it says, thanks so much, your driver will be there in 8 hours.
Yeah.
Right? It's like the expectation these days with ordering Uber, and I've spoken about it before. Ordering food, ordering Ubers is that it's going to be there within minutes. So this is the expectation of people these days. That's the service that they want, and that's the service that they should get. And look, it builds trust. It really does. If I was looking around for a real estate agent, that would be one of the first things that I would do. Forget about calling the agent in for an appraisal. One of the first things that I would do is I would crash test that real estate agent. I'd put through an email inquiry. I'd be the mystery shopper. I'd call the real estate agent, see how responsive they are, because that is how they're going to be treating your buyers.
Yeah, exactly right. The immediacy that we want now as a consumer. Gone are the days of waiting. People will simply move on. So what I mean by that is I often get a phone call when you're sitting as a second agent as well, and just in case the first agent's being missed, they'll call the second number straight away. And if that's missed, then it will get put in as an email inquiry. So gone are the days of waiting. People just don't have the
Gone are
patience
the
for it.
days of waiting. Couldn't agree more. Let's talk about real estate marketing. This is one of the ones when I came into real estate. This is going back now 7 years ago. I watched a lot. I observed a lot on the sidelines about the industry, Billy, and I really, really felt and knew that many aspects of our industry, we were just stuck in a bit of a time warp. Real estate
Yep.
marketing. So you've signed with an agent, you're getting your property on the market. Photographer has been called out to do the pro photos, the professional photos. What's the turnaround time? What's the expectation on the turnaround time?
I've heard some clients waiting as long as a week, but we I don't know if it's we found the right photographer or the right photographer found us, but we get them back within 24 hours. And look, there's a lot of work done in that 24 hours, but it gets done. The clients are thrilled. In the morning, they've got their brand new photos if it was taken the afternoon before.
That's right. So not only that, but you've called for the agent's called for the photographer. If your agent is coming back to you saying, look, that's great, we've got you all booked in for the 1st of December, those timeframes are just ridiculous. You need to be, the photographers should be readily available. I know Rob, our photographer, and we've got Barnabas as well. We have 2 photographers. If I've launched a listing, I can have a photographer at your place literally the next day. So,
Yeah,
depending on whether the property is ready, obviously sometimes there's still works that have got to be done as well. But, real estate photography, the professional photography, that should be done. We should be able to get that organised within 24 to 48 hours. And then those professional photos edited should be back within about 24 to 48 hours. If you're waiting 2 weeks, guys, you need to be asking why. Is it the real estate photographer or is it your real estate agent? Those
yeah,
timeframes are way, way too long. Okay. You've put forward an offer on a property. What do
yep.
you reckon? Response time in hearing back from the agent who needs to seek instructions off a vendor.
Yeah, look, I think for something that I found goes a long way with the buyers I work with is I go back to them with a response within hours anyway, whether I've got instructions or not, just saying we're still obtaining instructions, or the family's coming back to us after they've regrouped, because every situation is different. The buyer understands they've submitted an offer and of course want to hear back as promptly as possible, but sometimes you've got vendors that are overseas or you've got multiple decision makers, so you've got to just give them a bit of context to that. But radio silence, that's a killer. Normally though,
Radio silence is a killer. Yes, I couldn't agree more. So, look, understandably, I mean, I've just had a vendor, Billy, as you know, who's overseas, and the time zones were really, really tricky. We still made it work, but we were continuously just reassuring the buyer, please understand the vendor's overseas, she's over in the UK, the time zones are a little bit tricky, but we are waiting on instructions. We are going to come back to you. And then if we didn't hear anything for a matter of hours because of those time zones, we were still going back and letting that buyer know that we were still waiting on instructions and that we will let them know as soon as we hear something. So even if you have absolutely nothing to report that. Don't
yeah,
just do absolutely nothing. And it just, it shouldn't be radio silence. And that is ever. Okay. Final one, Billy. And actually, I just want to tack on to the back of the real estate photography, the social media thing. Instant. I call it instant media. You want to get your property out to hundreds of thousands of millions of eyeballs. That certainly will do that instantly, getting them out onto social media. I've just lost my train of thought on the final one, and it was a big one. It'll come back to me in a minute. I want to just talk about getting a contract of sale organised for your property. Normal time
yep.
frame?
2 working days. Most solicitors will have that done. So there's a couple of things they do. They order the council certificates, surveys. Sometimes they some documents containing strata, bylaws as well. But they're pretty good. Now everything's electronic. Things have got a lot quicker.
Yeah, absolutely. So, if you're waiting for, a week or more than a week, I would say that you're just waiting too long. You need to ask your solicitor why. You can actually, your solicitor can pay a little bit of money, go online and get that council certificate, and they can get that almost immediately. I know Northern Beaches Council, you can get it right away. It will cost you a few extra bucks, but it saves, it certainly saves that waiting time. Okay, what's Brendan got to say?
Brendan, good morning. One of my favorite clients. I've got a great story working with Brendan and Julie. This was my one and only exchange done on Christmas Eve at a fish and chip shop in Freshwater, where I called Julie to let her know she'd exchanged on the property at 5 o'clock. It was one of my favorite exchanges of all time. But
oh my God, I've got some stories as well with Brendan. But there you go. You're both, and listen, Brendan has dealt with lots of real estate agents, I can assure you. But there you go. You're always both very, very prompt. Look, guys, that speed and convenience, it builds trust. It's the expectation these days. If you are waiting for hours and hours or days and days and you haven't heard back from your real estate agent, that is definitely not normal. It's definitely not the standard, and it's not the expectation these days. It's just not. If you are chasing your real estate agent, if you're a vendor and you haven't heard from your real estate agent after the open home about numbers, and you haven't heard from them for a week, that is definitely not normal, right? The expectation is that you should be hearing from your real estate agent regularly. Vendors, buyers, there's absolutely no excuses these days. These mobile phones, they sit in our hands most of the day as real estate agents.
Yeah, that's right. Look, I think this is the biggest way to build trust. You're on the front foot before you've even got working. People just appreciate the updates, large or small. And all the real estate trainers say the easiest way to step out from the pack as an agent, just pick up the phone. It's no more than that.
That's it. Exactly. It's that simple and that complicated. Billy, thank you so much. Controversial Tuesday. Guys, if there's topics that you want us covering, this is a live show, but we'd certainly love to hear from you. And also we want to hear from you if you're a buyer and you've got a story where, you've had these extraordinary wait times, or you're a vendor. Please do reach out to us. We'd love to have a conversation with you. Billy, have a great Tuesday.
You too. Thanks, guys. Take care.
See you guys.